for this each day really allows the for the day to go by, but it makes it go by quickly. Just checking again to make sure. There we go. I think we're on. Yep. Excellent. Okay. So today is the the last day for us to look at Kitisa and the golden calf. And I wanted to really mention the golden calf today and talk about it a little bit, because I had an email encounter this morning with Rabbi Laura Geller, who I'm sure many people that are watching this know Rabbi Geller. And she wrote this article about COVID-19 and what it means to love your neighbor at this time, and who are our neighbors, and lots of questions that she asks. And when we were emailing together, she was saying that she was working on self-compassion when one makes a mistake. And I was like, golden calf. The second I read it. And I thought about that, and then I thought, what's interesting that happens in our society now, this, I'd hate to kind of get popular, but this cancel culture, the idea that a person can make a mistake and that's it. There's no teshuvah. There's no regret remorse that a person can express, and they're forgiven. There's no forgiveness. There's, you said that, you're this, you're that, you did this, and then you've become that thing, and that's who you are. You live a life of goodness, and you make a mistake, and life's over for you. Now, that's different than a person seemingly living one life, but they have been notorious throughout their life in the back of the scene, doing dastardly things. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when a person makes a mistake. Someone's working and they make an error at work, and you're fired for it, or there's no such thing as a light reprimand, or to work something out with somebody, or to work through it. It seems, of course, there is, and that's what I want to talk about. Is how we can have two things. Self-compassion is one. So we know the mistakes we make more than anybody. And sometimes we can beat ourselves up and say we're horrible, or we're bad, or we're whatever it is, the descriptor that you use for yourself. Can you forgive yourself? Can you have compassion on yourself and say, okay, that was a mistake, you can learn from this and be a better person now? Because then it serves a purpose of beauty. Then it serves a purpose of raising your level of existence, right? Of constantly improving as you go through life. Learning from our mistakes instead of denying our mistakes, pushing them down, or beating ourselves up so much that we can't move forward. There's so many directions that a person can go when they make a mistake. And it seems the two that most people have is they won't admit it, or they admit it so much that they beat themselves up over it. And if we have compassion for ourselves, then we can say, okay, I made a mistake, or I did that and that isn't right. And I can move on from there. That's, that's when we use language. There are certain things that are out there in the social world, idiosyncrasies that we say, phrases, and these phrases can be hurtful to people, and we may not have known that. This has actually come up recently a couple of times. The I'll tell you one. And we were in a meeting, and I said a rule of thumb, and it was pointed out that the rule of thumb is the size of the stick you're allowed to beat your wife with. Now, I did not know that. Now that I do, although I did just say it for illustrative purposes, now that I do know it, I don't say that phrase. I just say the rule is. But there's an example, right? So once I discover that I was wrong in saying that, oh, I see, I grow, I move on. It's no longer a part of my vocabulary. So that can be in our actions as well, or in the things we've said, or the people we've hurt, and we've made mistakes. This is what High Holy Days is all about. Is we know we make mistakes, but in an ongoing, everyday, mindful way, we can acknowledge the mistakes that we make. We can notice that we make these mistakes. So that's number one. Self-compassion. Guess what number two is? Number two is compassion for others. People make mistakes. How would we expect that another person isn't like us? And I guess one would say, if I have difficulty even admitting I make a mistake, it's probably hard to, yell at somebody else or even think that somebody else could make a mistake. But that's not usually the way it is. The people that deny that they make mistakes will accuse everybody else of making a mistake. And sometimes it's their own mistake. But it should be, I make mistakes. I'm human. You make mistakes because you're human. I can either deal with that with compassion or scorn. And it does depend, I guess, on the level of the mistake when it comes to what the person has done. And I know I'm using the word mistake, which is a very light word. There's many layers of what we do wrong, and some are ruinous. And those that are, we have to react accordingly when people do things to us, even if they're mistakes. But to move on with our lives, we have to have compassion to the other person and come with some kind of understanding towards the other person and understand that they're human. It doesn't mean we have to necessarily forget that it happened or what they did to us, but to let go of it. To let go of it so it doesn't ruin me for the rest of my life, and give that person the kind of power. Let's be compassionate on ourselves and on others. It's a simple notion, really very difficult. I don't think I have compassion for everybody. I think I kind of pick and choose who I want to feel compassion for. I try to give everyone the same amount of compassion, but I don't think that that's the way. I think I have to reflect on that and see what's true about that. It's very difficult to carry compassion for everybody. But maybe we don't need to have compassion for everybody all the time, but when they need it, we can have it for them. Maybe if I compartmentalize it like that, it might be easier. So, if you think about this golden calf, the worst mistake the Israelites could ever make, God continues to love them. Moses continues to love them. Yes, the worst of the evildoers are punished, but, the story moves on, the people move on, they learn from it, and don't do it again. So, perhaps we should treat ourselves and other people like God and Moses treat the Israelites, with self-compassion and compassion for others. Let's get comfortable and strong at the same time so we can do our meditation, our quiet time, our breathing time, our time existing in the present, so that we can take on whatever life has for us after we're done. It's like a rejuvenation, a redemption, a short redemption from the day, so that we can recoup. And perhaps tonight, as we finish, we can go out into the world just a little more compassionate. Here we go. Just a regular breath. We're not trying to breathe any particular way, however your body needs it. And just really notice how your breath comes in. Is it cold coming in? What parts of your body expand as your breath comes in? Is it your stomach? Is it your chest? Your neck? How long is the space, the nefesh, between when you feel like your breath is finished and you actually breathe in? That time between, that nefesh. We're just allowing things to be as they are for now. There's no need to solve anything. There's no need to fix a problem. Just concentrate on our breath. And as our mind takes us away, just kind of give a little smile, a little kindness, and bring yourself back. That act of bringing yourself back is an act of self-compassion. Because now is the time just to breathe. Each breath, a moment. Just a reminder that it's totally natural for our thoughts to take us away. So have some compassion on yourself, and with love, just bring yourself back. last 5 minutes or so that we have. We close our session asking for two feelings. Feelings of joy. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. May the week come together in this moment. We aspire to be joyful. We aspire to be whole. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. As Shabbat approaches, we look for these two feelings to enter into our hearts, really inside of us, so we can approach Shabbat with that joyful feeling and approach wholeness and peace and harmony. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. May I feel whole. May I feel joy. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. Just keep asking that with each breath, either out loud or to yourself or with a whisper. If you'd like for a moment to invite someone to be in front of you in your mind's eye. And offer those same feelings to that person. May you feel joy. May you feel whole. May you feel joy. May you feel whole. May you feel joy. May you feel whole. Just a couple more breaths there on that person who's with you. And then we bring ourselves back to us. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. May I feel whole. May I feel joy. And just stay there for a couple of breaths and as we come to a close, we just go back into our breath and into our heart. And we feel for just our last moments, each breath, how it comes in and out of our bodies. How our heart beats next to our breath coming in. Thank you so much for joining me. I'd like to just make a shout out to my uncle. My Uncle Sam turned 93 today. I hope he had stillness and peace, as I hope you found stillness and peace this evening. May you feel joy and you feel whole. Have a wonderful Shabbat.